Jujutsu Kaisen. Chapter 266 spoilers are here. The fight between Yuji and Sukuna continues, however Yuji isn't dominating the battle, and it looks like he can't kill Sukuna at will, but Megumi fights back. As always, a massive shout out to Miyamura for providing the leaks. Now sit back, relax, and let's go through it all. The chapter begins with Yuji listening to Megumi's soul. Megumi says he wanted to create a world where Tsumiki wouldn't have to face the unfairness of the current world. He also says, even if I couldn't create such a world, I wanted to maintain that fragile life at least while I was alive, and she was in my sight. Megumi continues to explain his dream world by saying eating meals that were made out of habits, watching the sunlit laundry, walking side by side with a person like you, Itadori, and seeing off Tsumiki. I wanted to think, I'm so happy. Megumi tries to end their conversation saying, but it's okay now. But Yuji explains how he eventually came to understand the choices of people who have to face the harsh, unavoidable realities. Here, Yuji is talking about his grandfather's illness. Apparently, his grandpa had lung cancer, but he refused to follow any harsh treatment and faced the illness head-on, which expedited his death. Yuji continues to say, that's why he can't tell Megumi to live right now, in case you didn't get it. Yuji says he understands how depressed Megumi is right now, so Yuji can't get himself to tell Megumi to live. And seeing this conversation between the two of them, I guess that what Yuji did in the previous chapter kind of worked. I said in the previous chapter that what Yuji did wasn't just for Sukuna. At the same time, he was trying to reach Megumi and show him that there is more to life than what he thinks. Anyway, back to reality. Sukuna opens Hollow Wicker Basket to counter Yuji's domain. And just as a reminder, Hollow Wicker Basket is an anti-domain technique and predecessor to the simple domain. This is not the first time that we have seen Sukuna use it. In response to Yuta's authentic mutual love, Sukuna used Hollow Wicker Basket to neutralize the domain's barrier and disable its sure hit effect. Now back to the chapter, Sukuna says he can't use Gojo's method of resetting burnt out curse technique by using reversed curse technique because it's too risky to execute since his brain is still affected by Gojo's domain. The narrator explains that Hollow Wicker Basket and Simple Domain are weaker in output compared to actual domains, but by keeping the hand sign intact even after activating Hollow Wicker Basket, he compensated for the output it would lack and continued to fight without getting overwhelmed by the opponent's domain. Yuji and Sukuna exchange blows. Sukuna says even he's shocked and surprised at how angry he got when he's looked down upon. To show your pity to me, I can't want to make every human other than you to atone for what you've done. Suddenly we see Kid Megumi in the alley, where Gojo met him for the first time, and Megumi asks the same question he asked Gojo, but now to Yuji. Kid Megumi says, "What's with that face?" And Yuji responds by saying, "Well, it'll be sad without you, Fushiguro." In the next instant, Sukuna's leg gets synced into shadows. Fushiguro Megumi fights back. Sukuna is in shock and he says, Megumi Fushiguro's soul, which I had submerged with the bath, spewed back to life because of the brat's dismantle. Sukuna also says that Mahoraga is destroyed and Ten Shadow technique has already lost its function. Yuji lands a hard punch on Sukuna's face which blows him away. After that, Yuji smiles as he realizes that Megumi is fighting back. Yuji and Sukuna hit barrage of punches to each other. Faces, Sukuna loses the Battle of Brawl as he once again activates Hollow Wicker Basket to shield against Yuji's punches. Sukuna says, my reversed cursed technique is pointless against the brat's strikes. Hollow Wicker Basket is going to break. But instantly slashes come out flying, and Yuji's curse tool, which he has equipped in his hand, turns into pieces. Yuji realizes that Sukuna used Gojo's technique of resetting the burnt out cursed technique. So, as always, as soon as we're told that Sukuna can't do something, he does the exact thing in the next panel. Sukuna mentioned in this chapter that he can't use Gojo's technique to recover his burnt out curse technique, but he somehow did it and successfully lands an attack on Yuji. Another thing worth mentioning is the curse tool that Yuji was using on his hands. While we speculated that Yuji's hands went through a transformation after he consumed the remaining death paintings, it turns out that he simply was using a curse tool, but we don't get any further explanation about this tool. Anyway, Now we get to the confusing part of the chapter. This part was initially misinterpreted by Miyamura, and even after he cleared things up, it was still kind of confusing, and I think we should wait to see the actual chapter to fully understand what happened. Here's what happened in the last 3 pages. Sukuna regains his curse technique and slashes Yuji's gauntlet. After that, Sukuna proceeds to open his domain, but he's shocked to see the missing fingers on Yuji's left hand. The chapter ends with us seeing one of Sukuna's fingers being tied up in a mysterious place. Editor's comment at the end: Shinjuku battle reaches its climax next week. I don't exactly know what Sukuna is trying to do at the end. I mean, why would he try to open his domain while he is inside Yuji's domain? That's why I said we should wait for the complete chapter to understand. On the other side, the finger we saw at the end of the chapter might be the remaining finger that Sukuna is yet to consume, or it might be a finger inside Megumi's body or something. I think in the review video we'll get a better explanation for all of this. Also, it's sad that we didn't get any explanation on how Yuji's domain works and what it does, but I think we'll get that in the next chapters. Now, the last thing that you need to know is Jujutsu Kaisen will be announcing a super crazy project next week.